Hello and welcome to Byju's Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. Which of the following lies along the Pacific Ring of Fire? Comoros, Guatemala, Peru, Solomon Islands, Tonga Island. The answer to this is 2, 3, 4 and 5 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Indian Express makes a reference to the Tonga Islands, volcanoes in the Tonga Islands, and as we speak about these volcanoes, we should know about the Pacific Ring of Fire. So what is the Pacific Ring of Fire? The Pacific Ring of Fire or the Pacific Rim or the Circum-Pacific Belt is that particular area along the Pacific Ocean where there are active volcanoes as well as the earthquakes. So this particular area as shown in the image is the Pacific Ring of Fire. Basically, it has about 75% of the world's volcanoes and about 90% of the world's earthquakes occur in this particular region. So the Pacific Ring of Fire runs through USA, Indonesia, Mexico, Japan, Canada, Guatemala, Russia, Chile, Peru and Philippines. Its length is over 40,000 kilometers and traces from New Zealand clockwise in an almost circular arc covering Tonga, Kermadec Islands, Indonesia, moving up to the Philippines, Japan and stretching eastward to the Aleutian Islands, then southward along the western coast of North America and South America. The area is along several tectonic plates including the Pacific Plate, Philippine Plate, Juan de Fuca Plate, Cocos Plate, Nazca Plate and the North American Plate. So we had one of the volcanoes that occur in the Tonga Island, and that is what this article on the Indian Express speaks about. So this article currently goes on to say that because of the volcano that had occurred in the Tonga Island, the reefs, the coral reefs were completely disturbed and they are still not able to recover is what is this article all about. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements with respect to MV Ganga Vilas. MV Ganga Vilas is the first indigenously made cruise vessel to be made in India. The MV Ganga Vilas vessel is 62 meters in length and 12 meters in width. The ship is equipped with pollution-free mechanisms and noise control technology. Which of the statements given above are correct? The answer to this is 1, 2 and 3. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference in the Indian Express article. So this article here is speaking about MV Ganga Vilas. What is this? This happens to be the first cruise vessel to be made in India. This particular cruise missile as shown in the image will travel from Varanasi and it will go up to Dibrugarh. So basically this happens to be a cruise vessel that is made in India and this will travel about 3200 km for about 51 days. It will make the start in Varanasi and it will ultimately end in Dibrugarh. So this happens to be a luxury cruise where there are private players who come into picture, and we also have the Inland Water Authority which is making sure that this becomes a successful tourism project. So basically what would happen? There will be tourists, they will visit all the heritage sites along the Ganga and the Brahmaputra river system, and during this particular journey they would be served with Indian cuisine, there would be non-alcoholic beverages, there will be spa as well, and at the same time to take care of all these tourists what we will also have is the doctors. In order to prevent any environmental negative consequences, the sewage treatment plant is also present in this cruise missile as well. This makes sure that there are no sewage flows into the Ganga or the Brahmaputra, and at the same time it will also provide employment opportunities. This will also give a boost to the tourism in our country. However, one of the significant challenges that we may face is in terms of negative consequences to the environment. It is this that we have to understand with respect to this topic. Now let's look into the next practice question. With respect to Brasilia Declaration, which of the following statements are correct? It aims for the phase down of hydrofluorocarbons by cutting their production and consumption. In 2015, India became a signatory to Brasilia Declaration. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Indian Express makes a reference to the road safety. So when we speak about Brasilia Declaration, this declaration basically commits to reduce the deaths caused due to the road traffic accidents. So the Brasilia Declaration is one of the declaration where India signed this declaration back in the year 2015. So remember, Brasilia Declaration is about reducing the road accidents world over. The Brasilia Declaration was adopted at the second Global High Level Conference on Road Safety held in Brazil, and they laid down couple of recommendations so that we could strengthen the existing legislations with respect to the accidents so that we can adapt the sustainable transport and strengthen the post crash response as well. This Brasilia Declaration also promotes number of steps which includes bike paths and bike lanes, proper lighting along the roads, radars with camera as well, signaling, road marking, so on and so forth. So Brasilia Declaration aims to reduce the death caused due to traffic accidents. And this article currently goes on to say evidence from places with sterling road safety records show that road deaths can be prevented by strong government action. This includes comprehensive approach to road safety, prioritizing accessibility over mobility, and walking, cycling, and smart urban planning over high speed driving as well as car dependency. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following statements are correct? The family of Nizams in India is descended from Abid Khan, a Persian from Samarkand in Uzbekistan. Hyderabad was the first princely state to come under the British paramountcy, signing a subsidiary alliance agreement. Mukram Shah was the Nizam of Hyderabad at the time of Operation Polo. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is 1 and 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Indian Express makes a reference to Mukram Shah Bahadur, who happens to be the grandson to the last Nizam of Hyderabad, which is Mir Osman Ali Khan. So the last ruler of Hyderabad immediately after Indian independence happens to be Osman Ali Khan, and it is his grandson who happens to be Mukram Shah who has passed away. Now when we speak about the statements, the first statement is right, that the family of Nizams in India descended from Abid Khan, and he was a Persian from Samarkand in Uzbekistan. So the first statement is right. When you look into the second statement, yes, Hyderabad was the first princely state to come under British paramountcy. Second statement is right, but third statement is wrong. It was Osman Ali Khan who was the Nizam of Hyderabad at the time of Operation Polo, and it is not Mukram Shah. And when we speak about the subsidiary alliance of Hyderabad, the Nizams were hereditary rulers of the state of Hyderabad, initially governed the region on behalf of Mughal emperor in Delhi. After the death of Aurangzeb, they became independent ruler. When the Marathas rose to power in Deccan, there were many clashes between them and the Nizam of Hyderabad, all of which lost by Hyderabad. Thus, the Nizam also paid tribute to the Marathas. Nizam Ali Khan, also called as Asaf Jatu, was the Nizam of Hyderabad from 1762 to 1803. In 1790, the Nizam had allied with the Marathas and the East India Company to fight Tipu Sultan, the ruler of Mysore, in a triple alliance as part of Third Anglo-Mysore War. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following pairs. We have the wetland or the lake on one side, location on the other side. Hokera Wetland, Punjab; Renuka Wetland, Himachal Pradesh; Rudrasagar Lake, Tripura; Sastam Kota, Tamil Nadu. How many pairs given above are correctly matched? The answer to this is only 2 pairs. When you look into the first pair is incorrectly matched. Why? That is because Hokera Wetland is located in Jammu and Kashmir. Renuka Wetland, yes, it is correctly matched. It is in Himachal Pradesh. Then we have Rudrasagar Lake. This is correctly matched. Rudrasagar Lake is also called as Rudijala, and this is located in Melagar in Tripura. But Sastam Kota is incorrectly matched as it is in Kerala and not in the state of Tamil Nadu. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is Personal Law versus Child Marriage Prevention Act. Let us try and understand what is this article all about. We have one of the major laws in our country which happens to be the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act of 2006. According to it, if there is a girl who is less than 18 years of age, if she goes on to get married, that is called as a child marriage. And at the same time, if there is a boy who is less than 21 years of age, if he goes on to get married, that is also assumed as child marriage. So under the 2006 Act, any marriage below the prescribed age of 18 years for women and 21 for men is illegal, and the perpetrators of a forced child marriage can also be punished as well. There are other set of laws as well. Let's say for example, we have the Indian Christian Marriage Act of 1872, or the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act of 1936, or we consider the Special Marriage Act of 1954, or we also have the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955. All this prescribe the minimum age of a marriage for a man is about 21 years of age, and at the same time for a woman it is 18 years of age. So the law for all the communities says clearly that for a woman, if she has to get married, she has to be above 18 years of age. If it is a man, he has to be above 21 years of age. With respect to personal laws as well, this is also present in the Prohibition of the Child Marriage Act. But is it uniformly applied across all communities? The answer is a clear cut no. This is different according to the Muslim personal laws. So if we look into the Muslim personal laws in India, it remains uncodified. It also remains unconsolidated when it comes to India. So persons who have attained puberty are eligible to get married. So basically, when we look at the criminal laws in our country, what we have is the same set of laws. IPC is equally applicable to every single community, but when it comes to civil laws, it is not uniformly applicable. Why? Because we have the personal laws that immediately come into picture. Similarly, when it comes to the child marriages, it is 18 and 21, but this is not applicable for the practitioners of Islam who happen to be Muslim. So what we have is the Muslim personal law in India, which means to say that any person who has attained puberty are eligible to get married. So the question is, can the personal law of a religion override the provisions of the Prevention of the Child Marriage Act? Why are we discussing about this? That is because recently there was a case. A 26-year-old Muslim man had married a 16-and-a-half-year-old girl, and this person, that is the girl, since she was less than 18 years of age, the Punjab police had taken custody of the girl. Why? Because she was a minor. As a result, this person, the man, goes to the Punjab and Haryana High Court, seeks for the custody of his spouse, and ultimately, when it goes to the court of law, the girl is asked some questions. The girl says yes, she married that person with free will, and at the same time, the girl also says that she wants to reside with this particular person. So the Punjab and Haryana court looks into this entire issue and goes on to say that since the girl has married on her free will and has also given the consent, this marriage will not be void because it is in line with the Muslim personal laws. So the High Court ruling quoted the principles of Muhammadan law by Dinsha Fardunji Mullah on the capacity for marriage. It states 1. Every Muhammadan of sound mind who has attained puberty may enter into a contract of marriage. So in this particular case, the female had entered into the phase of puberty and she had a stable state of mind. She had a sound mind because she was able to take the decision. So the first criteria is fulfilled. She has sound mind. She had reached the puberty stage, so she can take an independent stand. And at the same time, lunatics and minors who have not attained puberty may be validly contracted in marriage by their respective guardians. A marriage of a Mohammedan who is of sound mind and has attained puberty is void if it is brought without his or her consent. So this basically means since the consent of the girl was taken, consent of the boy was taken, puberty is the criteria under the personal laws of the Muslims, all the conditions are met, even if it is violating Prohibition of the Child Marriage Act, this cannot be declared void, said the Punjab and Haryana High Court. We also also have couple of contradicting judgments given by different high courts as well. The Karnataka High Court in a 2000 ruling went on to say that no Indian citizen on the ground of his belonging to a particular religion can claim immunity from the application of prevention of child marriages. So Karnataka High Court says that irrespective of the religion, everyone will fall under the Prevention of the Child Marriage Act. But when you look at Punjab and Haryana High Court, it gave a contradictory decision. So on one side, one High Court says one decision, there is another High Court which gives a contrary decision. As a result, this particular issue is now being taken by the Supreme Court of India. We have the National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights, which has also moved to the Supreme Court against the High Court ruling of Punjab and Haryana High Court. So they go on to say that High Court's ruling in this particular case is a violation of Prohibition of the Child Marriage Act of 2006. So the Supreme Court has now agreed to examine a decision of the Punjab and Haryana High Court that a Muslim girl could marry a person of choice after attaining puberty. So this will be taken up by the Supreme Court. We have to wait and watch what will be the judgment that will be given by the Supreme Court of India. It is this that we have to understand with respect to this topic. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.